And in terms of developing professional competencies, the final stage is looking at skills and application of knowledge and understanding. And this leads us into some focus areas. One area is in terms of planning and leading. And in this regard, the reflective practitioner obviously needs to set very clear learning objectives and identify clear learning outcomes for their lessons. And this needs to take account of students' needs and interests, what they can do, what they can't do, what they understand and what they already have difficulties with. In terms of planning and also evaluating lessons, what this means for the reflective practitioner is reflecting on how far the students are able to meet the learning objectives and therefore achieve the learning outcomes. In terms of planning and leading, we can also think in terms of how the reflective practitioner is achieving the curriculum aims. Any teaching has a particular workload associated with it, and therefore the reflective practitioner needs to think about how they are managing to get through the curriculum and manage all the work of the school, the administrative duties, and also have a personal life. The reflective practitioner is somebody who manages to get a good work-life balance. And in terms of this professional competence relating to skills and applications, we can also look specifically at teaching and learning. And in this regard, the reflective practitioner needs to consider very carefully how they are creating an environment where students can learn that feels emotionally and psychologically safe and is also challenging. Without challenge, there is no learning. So the reflective practitioner needs to make sure that the students have an environment in which these particular aspects of teaching can occur. The reflective practitioner also needs to use a broad range of teaching strategies in their teaching. Purely staying with one approach to teaching can become not only boring for the students but boring for the teacher. And so different strategies and also different resources which support those strategies will help the reflective practitioner not only maintain the pace of learning, but will help to enliven and enthuse the students in terms of the content. And in terms of teaching and learning, the reflective practitioner also needs to consider the strategies that they're using throughout the course within every single lesson to motivate the students in terms of the subject they're teaching, and to motivate in terms of meeting the needs of the individual students. And what this means is that the reflective practitioner needs to set very clear standards of behavior and needs to promote these in the classroom in order to make sure that the psychological, the emotional space is conducive to learning. And what that also means is that the reflective practitioner needs to understand that they're working within a community, a school, where there are policies and procedures to support how the teacher is managing this aspect of their practice. And so in terms of professional skills and application, this particular competence, and in terms of teaching and learning, we can look very broadly from the point of view of the whole school. In other words, how is the reflective practitioner contributing to the life of the school and contributing to the school's development and future success. And what this leads us on to think about is the reflective practitioner's role holistically in terms of assessment. And what the reflective practitioner here needs to think about is not only how they are monitoring students' progress, but most significantly, how they're giving feedback to students on that progress in a way which is honest and supportive, but motivational and gives direction. And therefore, what you need to do as a reflective practitioner is consider which assessment procedures you will use from a very wide range which is available to us. If we're always using MCQs or always using short answer quizzes, then actually this can prevent effective assessment. What we need to do is actually use a whole range to get a very detailed picture of each individual student's achievements. And finally, to think something for us to think about as reflective practitioner in terms of this competence area of skills and application and the assessment that we need to undertake is how much we are discussing with others within the school community about students' progress. How much are we verbally liaising not only with our colleagues and managers, but also with parents? Parents are a significant part of the teaching-learning contract, this psychological contract that we're all engaged with when we're working in schools.